Who else can't wait to talk about this episode of Samurai Jack? Well, I can't, so let's see what we got right now. Good morning, afternoon, evening, nighttime, bathroom break, in the room, wherever you are right now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Lewis coming to you once again through the power of YouTube and the Geek Fortress to bring you another Samurai Jack review. And today we have, of course, Season 5, and we're going to talk about Episode 7, the one that just aired last night. Now, there's a lot to cover in this episode, so before we get to it, here is your spoiler alert. Do not forget, guys, there is going to be spoilers in this video. If you don't want to get spoiled, if you have not watched this video, click away, come back later after you watch it. With that said, let's get right into it, guys. Our episode starts, we see our good old man Jack back in the day when he was still wearing the robe, rocking his sword and his little ponytail. And we see him walking in what looks like a hill, some sort of mountain, and he's obviously looking for something. As he's walking by, you know, he sees this little cute guy, this little sheep looking, he's so cute, look at him. And he's looking for a portal. That's what we find out. He's looking for the portal that is going to take him back in time. So he talks to the little guy. He's like, hey man, you want to know where the portal is? And then the little guys start following him, you know, 3 of them, all cute. And they finally make it to the top of the mountain, and there it is. It's the portal. They make it to the portal. Jack sees it. He ain't taking no chances. He runs right to it, and he jumps. Alright, so we are about to see what broke the samurai. And before we get to it, I just want you to know that it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Because this was not just only a portal, it was supposedly the last portal that could take him back to the past. So he jumps in, and as he jumps in, a black hand reaches in. Of course, it's Aku. It takes him right out. So he is unable to go back. So Jack tries one more time, but Aku, of course, destroys the portal. And Jack becomes so angry, so mad. It's like rage takes over him. Excuse me. If he were in the DC universe, he would get a Red Lantern ring. That's how bad it was. And it's at this moment that Jack breaks. That's like the first break, because this is what creates that angry personality that we've been seeing behind him the whole time. And Aku sees this, and he's like, hey, samurai, you know, you're really angry, blah, blah, blah. He's like mocking him and stuff. And Jack just blindly starts attacking him. He's really angry. Aku sees the moves coming. Jack basically has lost it at this point. And keep in mind, this is a flashback, so he lost it a while back. That's why he's so broken by the time we see him when this season starts. So Aku is like, you know what, my man, I'm gonna go away, but I'm gonna leave you with this fluffy monsters right here. So he leaves him behind with this 3 bowl-looking things that spawn from the ground. And, of course, Jack, to defend himself, kills them all. And, you know, remember how in the episode before, I think it was 2 or 3, the first time that he actually killed somebody, maybe a person, but this was the first time he actually drew blood. Because he actually killed these creatures, you know? And he was so blinded by rage that he just went straight up and killed them. And it turns out that they were actually the little creatures that went up with him to the mountain. So Jack is just destroyed by this, you know, and he sees the little creature and he just drops his sword to the ground. And when he drops his sword to the ground, you can see that he has achieved a different level of broken. You know? And he drops the sword. You see the sword dropping. And the hole where the portal was that Aku destroyed, he gets awfully close to it, you know? And Jack is just disgusted with himself. He can't believe he did what he did. But did he have to? Could he have waited? Could he have tried to maybe talk some sense into the beasts? We don't know. But at that moment, he chose to kill them. and the sword falls down into the pit where the portal used to be. And that is how he lost his sword. So we come back to real time when he's flying with a she, and he's saying, that's how I lost the sword. He's telling her the story. So they're going back. They're going back to the mountain. They see it, and they go all the way down to the pit. You know, they make it all the way down to the pit. I want to say it takes them a few days because they actually camp out, like, in the middle of the pit. And finally, I think the next day, or maybe after a couple days, they made it down. And the kicker is that they start looking for the sword, and it's been so long, you know, but, I mean, who could have picked up the sword, you know? But the sword's not there. They're looking and looking and looking, and it's just gone. It's not there at all. And of course, Jack sees one of the skulls of those little guys he killed, and it hits him, you know? And he realizes that he didn't lose the sword left him. Those are his lines, his own words. So Jack knows he needs the sword in order to destroy Aku. The sword is the purity that can cure the impurity that is Aku, as you guys know. So he knows that he has to do something, but he knows there is a way for him to get it back. And for some reason, it relies on like meditation and like traveling his mind to like another world inside his head. And as she says, "Oh, I'll come with you," but he's like, "Nah, you know what, man, girl, you know you're pretty and everything, but I gotta do this on my own." So he sits down, starts meditating, and then she's like, "You know what? No problem. I'll wait." So she starts waiting, and then Jack is meditating, and he like teleports himself to this realm, which we're gonna get to in a minute. Because right as he's doing this, as she looks over the horizon, and what's coming? A big-ass army, like a huge army, coming down. And she's like, frack, what do I do now? So we see this commercial break, you know, we come back and we see Jack like teleporting himself through this land. And he opens his eyes and he's like in this meadow. And he's trying to find the way back to the sword, basically. So this is when the fantasy aspect takes over in this episode, because it's not as simple as going there and picking up the sword. No, it's Jack is so broken and he's so damaged and everything has been so complicated that he cannot just go there and pick up the sword. The sword has basically left him, like he said before. So in order to get the sword back, he has to make peace with himself, basically, and make peace with whatever the entities that inhabit the sword, that give the sword the power. He needs to be at peace with them so he can wield it again. So he goes to like this little trek, and he finally makes it to this little looking weird blue dude, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for my sword." No, not really his exact words, but you know. And the guy's like, "Sure, come in, make me some tea," you know. And this takes us to one of the most intense tea-making scenes I've ever seen. Very, very well done as well. But anyways, we come back to a she who now has an army of more than 300 coming at her. And this woman, she's like Wonder Woman on steroids. She takes on a whole army. That's exactly what it sounds like. A whole freaking army. She takes them all. She just goes down like bowling pins, you know, going down, and she just keeps going down the mountain, killing them all. And that was one of my, even though it was so like out there, it was one of my favorite moments in the whole episode, because I was just like, damn, this girl is sexy, you know, she can kick my ass. So my feelings for her are stronger now. Just throwing it out there, guys. So she's mine. Stay away. But in any case, she makes her way through this army. Meanwhile, my man Jack is making himself some tea, and he has no idea what's going on. He's like inside his mind. But as she's making herself blood tea, she's just killing everything that comes at her. And again, one versus all. That's how this is. And I don't know, maybe this army wasn't experienced, or she's just that damn good. But she ends up taking them all out. So my man Jack finishes his tea, you know. As she is done, she's all bloody. she maybe she spilled her blood tea on her, you know, and she doesn't have any scratches on her or anything, and her leaf dress is still on, which, you know, it's surprising. And we cut back and we see that there's one shadow making it up to where Jack is. So as she cannot have this, she knows that it's probably an assassin trying to get Jack. She calls the mighty birdie from before, this cutie right here, and she flies all the way to the top. And right as an arrow is flying toward my man Jack, she's like, nope, that's my man. She stops the arrow right before it goes through the samurai's neck, it looks like. And that would have been the end of Samurai Jack. He would have come to the pass, alright. But past as in he was be dead. So she stops the arrow. She stops a set of arrows, like a rain of arrows that are coming down on Jack from an unknown source, though it's not revealed until it is. And we find out that it's Ashi's mom. That's right, that dark entity that trained all the sisters to kill Samurai Jack. And this is one of the moments I have been waiting for. If you guys remember my past reviews, I said there's gonna be a showdown. Something's gonna happen. We've seen like little previews, little glimpses, and it happens. She tries to convince Ashi one more time that Samurai Jack is the bad guy, but she's like, "Listen, sister or mother, it's not like that. Your BS don't affect me anymore." So the mama was like, "All right, it's time to throw down." And she takes off her robe. And she's like, bring it. So this daughter and mother fight takes place. Very beautiful, very cinematic. Light versus dark. The green versus the black. Very, very well done fight. As she now represents hope. She's mother's trying to kill the hope. Trying to kill the only person that can destroy Aku, which is Samurai Jack. But as she is not letting it happen. And the fight, this is a classic yin yang, good versus evil, and I really, really enjoy that. So they did that very well. They had me hooked the whole time. So do not make the story too long. You know, she tries to kill Jack, but she keeps stopping him. So this brings me back, and I found this very beautiful, a very nice connection. All those times that Jack saved her while she was inside the beast, and so they both got swallowed by the beast. Favor paid, bro. After this episode, as she saved Jack, she fought a whole army for him, so they wouldn't get to him. So that's worse than fighting that little lobster guy that tried to attack her. And she fought her own mother. And even though it was her mother, when she saw that she was about to attack Jack, she did the unthinkable. She was jumping toward Jack. Jack was still meditating, and as she grabs an arrow, throws it at her, stabs her right through the gut, and I think she's dead. Yep, Mama Darkness is dead. So light prevails, and again, Jack has no idea this is going on. He's having like a psychedelic trip inside his own mind, and you know, he gives the guy his tea, and he's like, "Hey, it's lacking something, you know. It's lacking that bondness, that feeling. It's lacking that one thing, that balance." So that was a very deep line, you know. Even you need balance, everything in the universe. So his tea didn't have balance. So he's saying you need the balance. So we see that anger, that red, and again, guys, let's take a look at the colors here. Red, anger, green, hope, black, darkness. No hope. We see the red Jack full of anger saying, what? He can't help us, because the little guy told him that he cannot help him get the sword. He's like, you need to find a balance. So that's his inner battle. We finally come to a conclusion. This inner red guy is telling him, no, this can't be possible. We came all this way. You're going to help us. We're going to get the sword back. And Jack is like, you know what, bro? You are the thing that's been holding me back. My anger, my own disappointment, my demons. I can get past this. Now my eyes are open. And Jack opens his eyes, and the redness disappears, and then the gods or goddesses that are represented by the sword show up, and they throw some magic lightning at him. You know, Jack goes all Shazam! And then, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. Jack, our Jack, clean-shaven Jack, ponytail Jack with a little toothpick on his hair, he is back. And so is the sword. Cue the applause. Thank you. The sword is given back to him. Hope is given back to him. He sees the sword. He grabs the sword. He lifts the sword up in the air. You know, by the power of Grayskull moment, kinda. And he's got it. He's got the sword again, guys. It took us 7 episodes to get to this point. This moment right here is what we were all waiting for. So we have definitely reached the climax of the season. I believe this season is going to have 10 episodes. Guys, we are at episode 7. Next week it's going to be episode 8. The end is nigh. And I remember when this just came back March 11th. And I can't believe it's going by so quickly. I have mixed feelings, but it's coming. It is coming. Jack has got his sword again, which is what the main quest for this season was. He comes back, he sees a she on the floor, and then she opens her eyes, and you see this look of hope in her that even though they're cartoons, you can tell, very good art. And she says, "You look good, you know, you shaved and everything." And he's like, "Yeah, thank you, you know." And then she's like, "Now what?" And then he's like, "Now a coup." And that's the end of the episode, guys. What a fantastic episode. Maybe not a lot of action, you know, other than she fighting a whole friggin' army by herself. But definitely a lot of heart, a lot of symbolism. The fight between good and evil continues. I enjoyed it a lot. But even though I'm a little upset because it is coming to an end, I am also happy because I see closure in the horizon. Hopefully I'm not wrong. So there's 3 episodes. Jack still have to see the Scotsman again. They have to gather an army. In the next episode, based on what we saw of a commercial of what's going to happen next week, they're looking for something or trying to get out of somewhere, and they're being followed by some entity. So probably not a filler episode next week, but a filler-ish episode. I mean, if they really have 3 episodes left, based on what I've looked up, there's only 10 episodes. So if they really only have 3 episodes left, they have to get the ball rolling. So they have set up the whole season perfectly so far. She's gonna fight by his side clearly, and clearly also the Scotsman's ghost. So we have to gather that army, and we have to fight a coup. And at this point, guys, it's looking like Samurai Jacket's not gonna go back in time. He might not go back to the past. It might come down to just a fight in the future, and he might never make it home. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Do you think Jack's gonna make it back? Do you think that's it? Do you think the future is it? Do you think that's the end? Please, guys, seriously, let me know. I want to hear all of your ideas, all of your thoughts. If you guys enjoyed this video, guys, please don't forget to give me a like and a thumbs up. That's the same thing. A like, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Also, this is a picture of my new kitty, Caprica. Isn't she so cute? She likes thumbs up. Obey the kitty. Be one with the kitty. Give the kitty a thumbs up. With that said, guys, thank you so much again for watching. You guys are awesome. As usual, it is my pleasure to bring you these videos. I will see you next week with a review for episode 8. Until then, my beautiful people, do not forget to stay awesome and overall geek on. Lewis out. And Caprica out too. Meow. Okay. Adios, muchachos. Samurai style. Watch out.